Hey Mo, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm okay. Living the dream.
Yes. Speaking of living the dream,
Yeah.
we have a very, very special guest, my friend and entrepreneur, Nancy of Silver
Woohoo!
Whisk Bake Shop. Doom, doom,
Silver
doom.
Whisk Bake Shop. Woo! Hi Nancy.
Hi guys, how are you?
Great. I'm excited to hear about all the things.
I'm
Yeah.
excited to share. Thank you guys for having me.
Yes,
Yay.
really appreciate you taking the time to join us. So, for those who are not familiar, can you please share a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, of course. So, my name is Nancy Zhou, and I'm the owner of Silver Whisk Bake Shop. So, I own an award-winning online bakery and chocolatier in Boston. So, we specialize in things like specialty cakes, wedding cakes, celebration cakes, cupcakes, and some gourmet chocolate bars too.
Ooh.
And, before I was in silver before I had Silver Whisk, I was a financial analyst. Mo knows all about that. At a company that I was part of for, like, 13 years, and I was doing both at the same time, and then I left my job at the end of December 2020, and I haven't looked back since.
Yeah, I love it.
Wow. That's awesome. You said 2020. Was it COVID related? Because it seems like that was a year of a lot of jumps, a lot of leaps people made.
Yeah, I think it wasn't even COVID, it was just, like, it was just being doing the same thing for so long that even COVID couldn't stop me from starting a business, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, COVID actually helped me streamline things a lot, but,
Mhm.
it definitely wasn't the point of where I was like, "Okay, now I'm gonna do it." If anything, I felt like it was risky, but I just had to anyway.
So you were doing it both at the same time. You were working at a financial institution and or wherever working in finance and had like a side hustle of doing these custom or these designer cakes. Both.
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
I had my side business probably like 8 years ago or like
Oh.
I've been working both the cake as a side business and then working my 9 to 5 for a couple of
Mhm.
years. So it was in the making for a
Yeah.
while. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
So you seem to have just a calm and happy composition.
Yes.
And I always hear from entrepreneurs that it's so stressful. So do you think that having those two roles helped prepare you for this? That now you're like, this is great. I'm only doing not only you're doing focusing on what you love to do.
Nope. Feel like nothing can prepare you. Like, well, I don't know, maybe some people are more prepared than I am, but yeah, it's just stress all the time. It's just all the time, but then you, like, figure it out. You just figure it out, and I feel like at every point in, like, when you're starting a business, whether, like, you have an idea and you're just, like, literally making your first post, it's like, "Hey, I'm selling a cupcake," or from, like, "Yeah, we're launching these new products and blah, blah, blah." It's always, like, this new thing for the most part that you probably haven't done before or I haven't done before, so it's just as nerve-wracking as it is in the beginning, but you're, like, less freaked out by it. You kind of know it's like, "Okay, I have to do something new, and I need to be smart about it, and you kind of figure it out better as you go."
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm taking deep breaths. I looked over your website and I was like drooling, okay, because these cakes
Oh.
are beautiful. They are beautiful. How did you get going? Like you said you were doing it side by side. I mean, was there a moment where you're like, okay, this is it. I'm going to quit this job and I'm going to focus 100% on Silver Whisk. Did you sit and make a business plan? Do you have a marketing like what was the process? Like how did you go from I'm doing both to I'm going to focus all my energy on this one thing? Like what did you do to make sure you weren't super scared? I mean, I bet you were scared anyways, but like
Yeah.
how did you prepare? Like was there a business plan? Like what was the plan? What's the deal? Help
Yeah,
us.
I
Tell
feel
us.
like I was making a plan every day. I was just like, I could do this. Like I'm such a dreamer that I just like write everything down and then it's like,
Yes.
but it tends to not happen, right?
Mhm.
But this time, I think I just got so sick of myself. Like,
Oh, wow.
when you're just so like sick of thinking about something or like, or you've hit like I don't want to say like a rock bottom, but do you know what I mean? Like you just hit this wall and you're just so sick of yourself. I was like, just sick of myself. It's like, oh yeah, you say you're gonna leave your job. Like you're gonna like do this, you're gonna make cakes and blah blah blah. It's like, okay, like if I'm sick of hearing myself and like hearing that in my head, and also at the same time, like I love my well, okay, like I had a great boss, had a great team, like there was nothing I could complain about. Nothing. It's like comfortable job, stable paycheck, like didn't need to leave it, but it was just this feeling every day of like, no, sorry to anybody that's listening to this from work, but it's like just kind of like dread and misery just because it's
Oh,
like
Monotony.
I'm
Yeah.
sick of my own thoughts, and then it's just like I don't know, it just felt more I just felt more and more of that every day.
Mhm.
And I just got to the point where it's like, all right, I just need to at least try, right? Like, I will really, really regret this if I don't try. And I just didn't want to get to the point where 30 years go by or however, or like maybe 10 years go by, I get hit by a bus. That's just like, I need to
Damn.
do this now. I mean, you never
Nancy.
know, right?
you never know.
It's like,
That's
so,
brave though. I mean, that takes some guts to do. Like I feel like kind of like what you were saying, like you're a dreamer, you write things down, you have these plans, but it's like I feel like a lot of people do that, but it takes a little something extra to actually implement them and
Mhm.
to go after it. Um and then to go after it in a big way. Like that's awesome. That's like really exciting.
thank you.
I love it.
I think just having my business on the side too, it wasn't like I'm quitting my job and starting something new. It was like, okay, I know I'm still getting orders. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
me, there needed to be like a level of um expectation that I
Mhm.
know something is definitely gonna happen. Like I know my business will be already running. But and it's like, I've kind of I've consistently gotten orders and why not? It's like
Mhm.
at that point it just got so busy also. I think that was a big thing. It got so busy to balance both things where like, oh, you have a butter delivery, but it's like 1 o'clock, but you're still working. Like, oh my God, like I gotta go. It was just starting to become very, very chaotic and like
Yeah.
not manageable. And I don't think I wouldn't be doing anybody any favors if I stayed at my
Yeah.
job,
Mhm.
But yes, it was time to go.
You know yourself. That's a good, I mean, that's kind of like burnout when you start losing yourself. And so that makes a lot of sense. So, what is there a story behind cakes and chocolates? How did you get into those?
Mhm.
Yeah. So I'll give you the kind of long story. Cause so I love food. I love food. I love food. I live for food. I wake up and I think about what I'm gonna eat next,
Yes.
what I'm gonna think about eating tomorrow. Like,
That's me. That's me.
right?
We can
It's like
relate.
it's like the joy of my life. So I always knew I wanted to do food, but kind of coming from like a very traditional Asian household, and my parents, they worked really, really hard to get where they are now. And during like the really difficult times, they were working in restaurants. So the food world to them is like, no, that is very hard. It's like backbreaking work, like late nights and all that. So I told them I want to go to culinary school, and they're just like, nope. Like, nope. It's either going to be like accounting, doctor, this or that. It's like, I don't trust myself as a doctor. So I did accounting. But even after like I graduated and I was working a couple of years at my job, I just still wanted to go to culinary school or just do something
Mhm.
in food and see what happens. So then I took I enrolled in culinary school for like a certificate program, and it was half a year, so it's not like straight up like 4 years. So
Mhm.
I was taking night classes, and that program was half savory, and half pastry.
Ooh.
So even though I thought I wanted to like be a chef and learn how to cook, like quickly in school, I kind of just learned like I really like eating, but cooking is just not as much my thing as much as I wanted it to be. And I was much better with like step by step directions, like this time and this temperature and these two things like reacting to each other. Like I could just follow it a lot better and get more creative when there's like more parameters. And
Mhm.
that to me is baking.
Baking for
So
sure.
right, like, I
Yeah.
feel like some people are, like, really great at cooking or really great at baking, and cooking was just, So I did try out cooking for a while. I was, like, a line cook, and then I tried different gigs, and it still just it didn't feel right, and,
Mhm.
one of my friends from culinary school asked me to make his wedding cake, and I was like, "Yeah, like, how hard is it gonna be?" So I made his wedding cake, and it was like, I mean, it came out great, but the experience was like, "I'm never gonna do this again." I think I was, like, crying, and it was, like, batter
Oh,
all over the place, and it was just but then, like, when I made it, I was like, "Oh my god, it actually made something." And I put up a photo of it online, social media, and then your friends kind of see it. They're like, "Oh, can you make my engagement cake?" And then it kind of just snowballed from there, and I started to make cakes for people.
I love it. I love it.
and what about the chocolates?
Oh, so the
They look
chocolates are
good. I just checked them out. I
Yeah.
those
was like, "Oh
chocolates
my gosh."
I need to say these chocolates. So the chocolates, like, are happened very randomly. This is, like, newer, probably, like, the past 2 years or so. So my distributor, she sent me some chocolate samples, which, like, I don't really use chocolate, I do baking stuff,
Mhm.
but, like, she sent me the good stuff, and I was just like, "Oh, like, this is what chocolate tastes like, this is the real deal." So then I don't know, like, it's kinda like Ratatouille, you know that, like, scene when he, like, tries something and he's, like, explaining the flavors and it's, like, black and then there's, like, little pops of color, he's like, "Oh, it's, like, nutty." This is that. So like, I would, like, if I'm, like, walking around the Asian there's a point to this, okay? So, like, as I'm walking around I see Mo, you're just like, "Huh?" Like, if I'm walking around the Asian grocery store and I see, like, some ingredients, like, what if, like, this ingredient and that chocolate, like
Oh.
right? So then I was just thinking like, "Oh my gosh, like these would go so well together." So then I started playing around with it, like pork floss is kinda like,
Yes.
right? So for anybody that doesn't know what pork floss is, it's like beef jerky, except it's pork, and
Mhm.
it's dehydrated, finely shredded, seasoned with, soy and sugar, and that with some caramelized white
Oh,
chocolate together was like
I'm looking at it right now.
Sweet and savory.
right, yeah,
Oh,
sweet, savory, and, like, a kiss of
salty, like
umami, and
yeah.
so
Oof.
it's like these chocolate bars are, like, they're just inspired by my memories of growing up as a Chinese kid in America. So
Ooh.
it's, like,
I love
flavors from,
it.
like, my grandma or, like, I don't know. So there's classic, like, milk chocolate, cocoa nibs, sea salt, but then there's, like, funk, like the
Right.
pork floss or Sichuan
Yes.
peppercorn, and I had that idea in my head for probably, like, 2 years, but I was like, "No one's gonna eat pork and chocolate like that." It look first of all, like, it's not the most beautiful ingredient, right? It looks like kinda like carpet. But after you eat it, it's like, "Oh my god, this
It's
makes
like
so much
carpet.
sense." It
Oh
looks
my
like
gosh.
carpet, but it tastes so good. Um, but I when I actually sold it, like, I brought it to, like, my cupcake pop-ups, and I was like, "Yeah, I also have these chocolate bars," and people like them, and they stayed.
That's awesome, and the packaging is so beautiful as well, so They're getting
Thank
the
you.
unique taste and the packaging.
I love it.
Thank you, Mo.
I'm up here ordering stuff while I'm talking. So bad.
I definitely need to send you some.
These pictures are beautiful too. Like your website is beautiful. Like all the
Thank
it's like
you.
simple, but like it really highlights the products and stuff. It's like beautiful. So the majority of like your orders, are they weddings? Do you do a lot of wedding cakes?
Yeah, that's our specialty. So like we've won awards for like specifically wedding cakes, which has been really amazing. So we'll do like a lot of luxury wedding cakes. And then that's like the big thing that we're known for. And then we also just have other cakes, right? So for like if it's a smaller event, if it's under 50 guests, people can choose from the designer cake collection. So it's like a whole collection of different pre-designed cakes, but they're all gorgeous in their own way. But wedding cakes are our big thing. Hmm.
Well, you say hour. Are there other people that work along with you at Silver Whisk Bake Shop, or are you saying hour just like as
I
in
so I do have a very small team. I'm trying to grow
okay.
that. And there's like some very part-time people. It's mainly me right now, and then I do have
Mhm.
people that help me with like administrative work, and then some people help me with the production work, and that's been super helpful. Very, very much so necessary.
So what do you mean the production work? What is that?
Oh,
What
like
step in the
in the
process is that?
kitchen.
Okay.
Yep. So in the kitchen, like helping me bake, helping me prep some cakes, make cupcakes, make the buttercream, kind of like everything that all the prep work that needs to get
Hmm.
done before we can actually put these things together and package it up and design it too.
This is so cool. I love baking. I'm like nowhere near like I'm just like a mom who bakes or whatever, but I just think this is so cool. Like to take something, because I can see when you speak about it, your face lights up. You're talking about like, yeah, you mentioned Ratatouille, and that's one of our favorite movies around here, but just the way that
Oh,
your brain works and the way that you're able to like see flavors, combinations, and things like that. And I don't know, I can see it when you speak about it, like how you're like it's a passion of yours. So that's really cool.
Yes, you're beaming, glowing.
Yes. Yeah.
hey. I mean, it's food. It's like,
Yeah.
I tell you, it's like,
So that's how we
literally
met.
think about it.
We
Yeah,
met
that's how me and
because
Mo met.
Food? Over
actually through
food?
food. Yes, we
Wait,
were
tell the
both
story. Yes.
we were both in Yelp Elite. That's all.
Oh, oh. Back in the Yelp days.
Yes, back in my Yelp days, going to
Hmm.
parties where there was just free flowing food and drink and sometimes music and entertainment. It was great. I
Good
was living
times.
the life.
Those were fun. Those were
Yeah.
fun days. I can't believe it's been so long already.
Right? And
That freaks me out. It's so long ago.
I always time it with my Uber membership. I'm like, gosh, I've been an Uber member for over 10 years because Yelp is what introduced me to it because they were doing a promo with Uber. Get some
Oh my
free
gosh.
Oh,
rides
good
back in
job.
the
Yeah.
day.
10
Yeah,
years. Wow.
right?
Do you
Wow.
guys, you said so you like to bake.
Yeah, but
What
like
kind of
I'm talking like
stuff?
just cookies. I bake for my kids. It's not like anything fancy. I don't make cute cakes and stuff. So
As long as it tastes good, that's all that matters, right?
yeah.
At the end
Yeah,
of the
but
day,
just
that's what matters.
I love it. So what? Okay, back to like so you've done this. You've had this business. How long have you been doing this? Um
Uh,
without the 9 to 5. How long have you been solely doing Silver Whisk Bake Shop?
since the end of 2020.
Okay. So
So, mhm.
if there was anything you could do over or you could advise yourself, go back in time or whatever and advise yourself to do differently, what would you tell 2020 Nancy?
Yeah. Oh man. Um, I think like dream bigger. That's a big
Oh.
thing. It's like
Ooh.
I think when you're or I don't know when you, but like for me, like when I'm so afraid of things, right? Like I'm just hoping that I can leave my job. I'm just hoping that I can have a business, but it's not like, oh no, I want to have like I'm not saying I want a franchise, but like, hey, if you want a franchise, you want to, or you want to have like your business and like national and different states, then yeah, it's totally possible. Like, I think just dreaming bigger, and I think the reason why it feels so difficult to or not natural for people is because you don't know how to do it yet, right? Like, you just
Yeah.
don't know yet. Um,
Exactly.
but I think if I just thought bigger and had those bigger dreams, then I would get a head start with kind of like figuring out how to get there. Versus what I did was just like, let me just like tell my boss I'm not gonna work here anymore. It's like spending like 5 days on an email or get you know what I mean? It's like just so like babies,
Baby
babies.
steps. Yeah.
But I mean,
Oh,
maybe that's just how it has to be in the beginning. But dreaming bigger is a big one. Probably like some other things are, don't focus on too much. Like it's so exciting, right? It's like, oh my gosh, I can do anything. Yeah, you could, but then it's gonna get complicated real quick. So yes, like expose yourself to different things, but then when you're like really starting your business and you're selling stuff, like focus, narrow it down and just get really, really, really good at it and be consistent with it.
mm,
So I think it's like so hard when you're just like excited, right? And it's I have like all it's like that literally the Ratatouille, like all these like sparks, like all these ideas, like I have like a list in my iPhone, like in notes, and it's just like probably like hundreds of ideas, and it's
wow.
not possible, you know? So just get really good at doing a couple of things and be the best at it. But yeah, I'm trying to think of what else. Um, oh, and just do it. Just do it.
Okay, Nike.
Yeah.
That
I mean,
part.
it makes sense, right? It's like, I think, like, you think about something and you wait for the perfect time for everything. It's like, "Oh, I was just waiting for the perfect oh, not now, like, this is happening. Oh, maybe next year," or, like, when I have more orders or, I don't know. Honestly, there's no perfect time, you need to just make it happen in a very imperfect time,
Mm,
and it doesn't mean you need to do everything, but you need to do something because I feel like action is what's made me more confident. If I didn't take the action, I would just be like still daydreaming, making lists and like planning it, but planning isn't anything unless like you actually do it.
Execute. Yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
I feel like
You
that's
mentioned
what we
that.
hear all the time. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, just saying, like with YouTube, like, oh, if you want to start your YouTube channel or like whatever, everybody's like, just do it. Just do it.
Mhm.
Like if you know you
Just
want
do
to,
it.
just do it. Yeah. And
See,
that's
I
the
get
scary part.
yeah, exactly. I get a paralysis. It's like you just do it, but what does that mean? I'm paralyzed. Like,
Tell me how to do it.
yeah,
What am I doing?
exactly. Like, what am I doing? I
Hold
need
my
a
hand.
manual. I need a manual.
I mean, that's so true. Like I think anytime you do something that's totally new, it's just overwhelming, right? And you don't know
Yeah.
what to expect and you're gonna mess up and nobody wants to mess up.
But that's part of the process, right? Is messing up, learning, because
Yeah,
everybody's journey is different. Um, I guess. And everybody's problems or issues that they come up with in their business is going to be different.
Yeah,
So,
totally,
but
totally.
yeah, but you'll never know if you don't do it.
Mhm.
Ooh, that's deep.
and you mentioned that you have some awards, and I think you tried to skip over that, but it looks like you have some very, very prestigious awards. Can you tell us about your top cake? What is it? Top cakes in Boston from Boston Magazine, and or top cakes
What?
in the, I don't even know. Is it Boston? Is it the country? Is it the
Yeah, it's Boston Magazine. No, you're absolutely right. So in 2020 and then 2022, we won, I can't even say, yeah, Silver Whisk won the Best of Boston for wedding cakes. So that was
Wow.
like a pleasant surprise. Yeah,
That's amazing.
thank you.
So you weren't expecting that at all?
No, I
Uh,
think like I think both times like someone else told me. They're like, "Oh,
What?
yeah, like congratulations. I'm like, what? It's like, what? Are you sure?
And that's
Wow.
like advertising. I mean,
Hmm.
now people planning
And
their weddings will see, uh-oh, we got to go to Silver Whisk Bake Shop because that's where the cakes are at,
Yes.
you know, like that's amazing.
I know it was like it is advertising. It's like it did make a big difference, I would say. Just like the exposure, not like my whole life like Twitter or anything, but it's like, like people that you wouldn't meet otherwise. And it's really cool that they're able to find me online. And it's yeah, 2 years, that was wild. That was a very, very nice surprise. So I am happy. I feel like before I used to be like, oh, I don't really want to talk about too much. Like, oh yeah, I got an award. But no, I am very proud.
Yeah. Yeah, let
Exactly.
people know.
Exactly. You did this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow. That is so cool. So, aside from that, like, how do people find you? Do you have like a big Instagram following? Where do people, where do most of your customers, like, is it word of mouth? Like, how are you getting people, you know, to place orders and find out more about your business?
Yeah, so definitely Instagram. So that's
Mhm.
just at Silver Whisk Bake Shop.
Uh-huh.
And then people can also like it's been a lot of word of mouth. So when it
Hmm.
comes to weddings, I have really, really awesome frienders, like friends and vendors who I've worked with before.
Frienders. I love it.
Exactly, right? And it's like
That.
I love the way they work, they like the way I work, and we recommend each other to our couples if they're a good fit. So word of mouth or past customers will recommend it to maybe their like friends and family. So people can find us on like Instagram, on our website. They can place
Mhm.
orders or just email me, say hi, send me a DM, like very, very casual.
Ooh, slipping them DMs, y'all.
Yeah.
Right on.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. Okay,
So,
I have a cheesy question though. Can I ask a
okay.
cheesy question, Mel, real quick? What's
Yeah.
what's the most popular cake flavor, buttercream? Like, what's the most popular flavor for weddings?
Fresh strawberry.
Oh,
That's like just a classic
Mm.
vanilla cake, and we blend like fresh strawberries into the buttercream. So it just tastes like I don't know. Everybody loves I mean, I think
yeah.
that's like the most
Oh, that
popular
sounds good.
flavor, right?
Yeah.
And then
Like
Okay.
light. Yeah.
yes,
Ooh,
exactly. And then the
classic.
more like indulgent flavor that people might choose is the dark chocolate and salted caramel. So it's
Mm.
a super, super like it tastes rich, but it doesn't taste like heavy. It just tastes like
Heavy.
indulgent. It's like
Ooh.
a semi-sweet chocolate cake, almost kind of like a fluffy brownie. It's not just cocoa powder, like there's real chocolate in
Oh
there.
my gosh. The way you
Yes.
describe stuff is
Right.
like
Look at you.
That's
like a
I mean,
like a
that is
fluffy old brownie. Give
yeah,
me
it
that.
is like a fluffy like when you have a chocolate cake and it just tastes like, mm, like unless it has like
Fine.
chocolate buttercream with it, but you don't need that. Like the cake is great on its own, and then it's like
Ooh,
complimented. So like
I
with
love this.
like a Swiss meringue buttercream, so it's not crazy sweet. It's just the right amount of sweetness and some caramel and some sea salt flakes.
Ooh.
That's like the salty sweet perfect combo.
Mm.
So you're dealing with a lot of milestones in life, birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, things like that. What has been your biggest save? What's a story? What's a time when you were, on the brink? I don't know if I'm just, maybe there wasn't, but you're, running against the clock and save the day with your cake.
I think there's been like, there hasn't been anybody that's been like, oh, today we need this, but there have been times when they're like, um, very last minute. It's like my
Mhm.
brother's getting married this Friday. It's like, oh,
Ooh.
okay.
Oh,
Like y'all didn't
Or like
know
they
or what?
it's like they just decided last minute. Or there's like it's usually like a family member that's that's eloping and they're more casual about it, but their family members like, no, you need this to be like a moment. right?
Yeah.
So that's when we'll just like hustle and squeeze in some like last minute orders. Cause if you can get a cake, then you gotta get a cake. Like
Yeah.
have a little
Mm.
cutting ceremony, you know what I mean? Like something.
Wow. Like that's so interesting you say that because I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs will say, like no last minute cakes. Like so that's
Yeah.
awesome that you're accommodating in that way.
I mean, like if I can, like I will, just
Mhm.
because
Oh,
why not? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
look, I'm in the kitchen. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in the kitchen, there's buttercream. Like, I know how to make cakes. Like, if it's not gonna be like, I don't know, why not? You know what I mean?
See, that
Yeah.
sounds like true passion.
That's karma
Yeah.
too. It seems like you're just spreading love with cakes. Like I love
Yes.
it. I love it. I
I
swear.
mean, it's all good vibes. Like, fortunately, it's a
Yeah.
job where it's all like happy things, right? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's like happy moments. So, and that's like the most fun when you meet people, especially when they're happy. So it's like, it is
And you're bringing
definitely
cake,
spreading
you
joy.
know?
I
Yeah.
know. I'm like the life
It's
of the party.
beautiful. Oh my gosh. I love it. Oh,
Have you guys ever started of like, well, this, I feel like even like starting your own podcast is a big thing. That to me feels like, doing something new, being consistent with it.
But it's not
we're a, me-
generating
we're a,
income.
we're a mess, okay?
I think that's how we all feel.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah. If
it's
only it would generate income. We're just having fun over here.
Good, good.
One day. One day.
yes.
We just have to dream bigger.
Ah,
Yes.
yeah,
That's
you
the
gotta
Wise
thing.
dream
words.
bigger.
Sometimes
Yeah.
I get blocked on dreams. I can't even write it down. So we'll definitely try.
Just do a big old brain dump.
So what's been your highest profile cake eater or cake event?
Ooh.
Oh, I know.
Stop. Yes, we're 12. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Well, it was in Cape Cod. No, but it was. It was a big old cake. Okay, okay. So probably one of the biggest cakes was this was like their wedding was like amazing. So
Mm,
so it was a 5-tier cake, very, very big cake, and there was like a cascade of flowers, and they're all handmade. So like every petal is like cut like with the veining pattern, and the middle has like the stamens and it's colored,
Oh
and
my gosh.
mhm,
yeah, so that had a lot of those handmade sugar flowers, and it was a big, big cake, and it was delivered to a private home. It's these private estates, guys. They like so it was a beautiful, beautiful private home in the Cape, and they like, oh my gosh, even like so they had a stage in the reception area for the band,
mhm,
and behind it's a big stage too. Behind the stage was just a wall of fresh white flowers, and it
Ooh.
was like thousands and thousands of flowers. Mhm.
Cash,
And
cash.
it's like a it was just it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful.
Wow.
So that's probably, I want to say, one of the more like high profile cakes that we've done, and that
mhm.
was it was gorgeous.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, any final thoughts?
No, just go check her out at Silver Whisk Bake Shop for real. Check it. I mean, these pictures, this chocolate. I'm about to order some pork floss up in here.
Hey, pork floss.
Thank you
Oh,
so much, Nancy. Really
oh my
appreciate
gosh.
Yes.
Of
Thank you,
course.
Nancy.
Thank you guys for having me. I love being able to do this. Like seriously, that you guys have been consistent for this long. That's so impressive.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
You too.
You and generating that one team.
Best in Boston, right there.
Hey.
Best in the
Oh,
bean.
All right. Well,
thank
thank
you
you.
guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.